How are you doing out there today? I am Ernie Vargas with Probate Fox, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I usually have these Q&As on a live Zoom, but today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. As a matter of fact, if this works out well, which I think it will, I'm going to continue to do these on a regular basis every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific, and you can go ahead and adjust that to your time zone. These are opportunities where I can answer some questions. As I get a lot of different questions about probate and probate leads and probate investing via email and different types of messenger systems, and it's a bit difficult to answer everybody's questions. So I thought that this be a really good way to do so. Let me just kind of start off and just give you a little bit of some thoughts here of what I'm seeing in my marketplace of probate. The market could never be better. I'm a big fan of probate. If you don't already know, I've been a big fan for 23 or so years. It's been a good journey, and I have to say that in today's day and age, we are starting to see even more of these folks having to deal with these cases that they really don't know what to do. Unfortunately, there are a lot of attorneys out there who are the attorneys that are chosen to assist with the probate, but then the heirs and the personal representatives get stuck with somebody that doesn't quite know exactly how to help them and how to service them, or may not have the desire to help them, right, in a way that's really helpful to them. So as real estate professionals, we like to, put ourselves in the path of opportunity, to be of service, and to be able to be wanted, right? It's a challenge for a lot of folks out there that are in the real estate space that, essentially are talking to sellers where they almost have to sort of, I always use the term, arm wrestle, right, to do business with them. And the truth is in this industry, you will find a lot of sellers that genuinely want and need your help. And so it's a great opportunity to be in. So having said that, let me just kind of go over today's question that I have. And the question that I have here is, about probate leads. If you don't know, I also provide a subscription to probate leads throughout the country. And so this means that I have different researchers that are going to the court each and every single day of the work week, and they're pulling that data for those that are subscribed to this service. And so what often happens is that these people get these leads, right, emailed out to them, but if they aren't real estate, if they aren't probate specific experts, they don't really know what to do with them and how to best use them. And so in this instance, this person is asking here if it makes sense to go out and talk to older probate leads. And so this means that if somebody has filed their probate, sometime in the past, it could have been, something like maybe a few months ago or, many, many months ago. And the truth is that, yes, these are fantastic people for you to go out there and speak with and introduce yourself and open up a channel of communication. Why? Why is that? Well, because if you stop and think, you have to put yourself in the shoes of your prospect, right? And you have to understand the challenges that they could potentially be going through. Oftentimes, people don't want to sell their house immediately, that house that they've inherited, or they aren't ready to sell that house, or maybe the family hasn't quite come together as to when to sell that property. In some instances, people have emotional attachments to these houses and they tend to want to hold on to them, but at some point there comes a time where the pain is real, right? And the pain of holding on to a piece of real estate that has taxes that need to be paid, and there are additional costs if there's a mortgage, if the property's left vacant, which it happens often, right? I have a quick story that I'll share with you about a property where the seller that I spoke with, basically she said that she didn't want to have to sell that house because that's a house that she grew up in, and she had these fond memories of her father having worked on that house when she was growing up, and how he built this part of the house and how he installed this on that other part of the house and so forth. And so sentimental value, right, which is totally valid. We're by nature, can be very emotional human beings, right? And so in this case, she said, I'm not going to sell that house. And I said, well, let me still be let me be in touch with you because plans and things change, you never know. And so that's exactly what I did. I stayed in touch with her over the months and over the many months, and I think it was maybe about 10 or so months where she kind of came back and said, Ernie, uh, you know I'm actually up to here with this house. It's costing me an arm and a leg. I live out of the state. The house is vacant. I'm always so worried about people breaking into that property. The neighbors are informing me that there are some strange people that are kind of peeking through the window, and it's a real burden, right? So over time, people will come to the reality that maybe keeping that house for a sentimental reason isn't it. And there's various reasons, right? That's just one example. And so in this instance, she basically said, I will be over this weekend and I'd like to sign the paperwork and get rid of it, right? And that's exactly what happened. And it was a great deal. It was a great property. It was a great opportunity for me to be of service to somebody and help her in a fast and efficient manner, and to not have to compete against the flood of other people, right? Because that can be challenging when everybody else is sort of knocking on the same seller's door, or speaking into that seller's ear, so to speak, and oftentimes the people that are doing so aren't really honest with the offer that they're trying to make. And we know within the real estates what that means, right? There are a lot of people out there that are putting offers on properties just to get them into escrow, and then they backpedal right when it comes time to close, and they try to bring down that price. And so it's important that these sellers work with the right people like us. And so in this instance, yes, I was able to purchase that house. So going back to that question, absolutely, you want to work on your older files. You want to work on the files that are various months. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a really interesting thing, that these probate files, in fact, are so valuable. They're so valuable because they are so difficult to obtain. It's harder to obtain an older file from the court records than it is a current file, right? They're not necessarily available as easily as not that it's ever easy, because there are some challenges that you have to overcome when you pull records, but it's a harder task, we'll say that, to pull older data. So if you've got older data in your possession, please, by all means, do not dispose of that data. As a matter of fact, with the Probate Fox, we provide an amazing service where this data, we will scrub that data for you, right? It's called list hygiene. And we take your data and we essentially, at your request, can scrub that data and give you a report back of all the properties in there that have been sold, or the properties that are pending to be sold. So if they are in escrow, or things like that, we give you that information, and we also show you what you can do to fast track your list and move on to the properties that are still available, and essentially land with a list of properties that are still sitting. And if it's a list that's 12 months old or 10 months old or whatever it may be, and these people are still going through probate, then I'll say that that's a very, very, very hot list. And so it's something that I highly recommend. And so that was the question that I chose to share with you guys today. I thought that it was a very timely question. Let me see. There's another question around that I wanted to share with you. And that is, so cold calling before mailing. So this question is can I cold call? Can I pick up the phone and dial and talk to these sellers if I haven't yet mailed out to them? So if I haven't sent a mail piece, absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's a personal choice as to how you want to prospect to your sellers. Do you want to focus on direct mail, or do you want to focus on the telephone, right? Or do you want to do a combination of both? And you absolutely can. And really, it depends on a couple of factors. Primarily, it depends on your what your marketing budget is like, right? That's a real thing. If you've got a very tight financial budget, right, your marketing budget's tight, then it's essentially marketing dollars are real, right? Stamps, mail, paper, all that costs money. But you do what you can with whatever you have, and that would then mean, going about it different ways, whether it's partnering up with somebody that can fill that gap in for you, or simply picking up that phone and talking to these people. Now, it's interesting because if some people out there say, well, why would you ever call somebody who's going through probate? Isn't that insensitive? Well, I'd say no, absolutely not. I mean, I've been doing this for 23 years, and I'll tell you that it's not an insensitive thing. These people genuinely need somebody to help them through this, right? Somebody that knows what they're doing, right? First and foremost. And so it's important that if you haven't been properly trained in probate, that you look at the Probate Fox as your source to help you get there fast. Somebody who's been in the marketplace, me, right? Somebody who's been out there for a long time and actually knows what they're talking about. So, and of course, I've got a lot of resources out there, a lot of free resources to help people with as well. But yes, cold calling, if you don't have the marketing budget to send out mail pieces, absolutely is a great strategy. And obviously keeping the fact that you have to be sensitive to people's challenges and whatever they may be going through, right? Everybody, is at a different place mentally and emotionally. That doesn't necessarily mean that just because somebody lost a loved one that they're in total, emotional despair. Not necessarily the case, right? Oftentimes the problems are so big that the problems that they're going through within the probate space that they really need to, they need to move that house, but they don't know how to do it, right? And so you can be essentially that person that saves the day for them, right? I call these people heroes. They are probate heroes, and you can absolutely be a probate hero. I'll share some stories with you in the following weeks, or sessions like this about not only myself but students that have been through the program and how they have saved the day. And it makes it makes an amazing difference to be able to sit with the seller and provide real value and service to them, and then come after it's all done, there's hugs all the way around, right? Everybody's so happy. But yeah, so that was the other question that I got. And let me see here. Personal representatives, and who do I contact? Do I contact a personal representative, or the decedent, or the relative, or the attorney? Great question. Very, very good question. And there's one good answer, right? And that is, you always want to start with the decision maker. And that decision maker is your personal representative. That's the person in charge of the estate, right? Another term for this personal representative is executor, executrix, if it's a female, administrator, administratrix, female. But essentially, that is your main point of contact, where you're going to start your conversations. Now, in the event that you can't get a hold of this person, yes, you can contact the attorney. And I teach people how they can have excellent conversations with attorneys and really befriend these attorneys, right? And create these win-win scenarios. Win-win, because at the end of the day, the attorney does want that house to be sold. It is a real, genuine need. And that doesn't mean that every attorney is going to work with you. I mean, some of you might think, well, some of these attorneys tend to be a little rigid and not the friendliest of people. But look beyond that, right? For every bad attorney that is out there, or unpleasant or unfriendly, I'll tell you that there are plenty more that are friendly and that are open and receptive to talking to you, receptive to talking to you. And guess what? There are a lot of new attorneys coming into the marketplace, right? There's a wave of new people that have passed the bar exam and that are hungry to get business going. And people understand that a key to a successful business ventures is in having good relationships, right? A good network of people. And so you being a real estate professional, whether you're a real estate agent or a real estate investor, you are a key connection to these folks. And so keep that in mind. So always start with your personal representatives. What about your decedents? Numbers, we provide phone numbers for the decedents as well. And the reason that we provide phone numbers for these decedents is that in the event that you can't get a hold of the personal representative, there typically is someone that is still picking up that phone of that person that passed away. And so we provide that for you just in the event that you can't get a hold of your personal representative. Your relatives would really be at the very end of your prospecting efforts. They are not the folks that really would be in charge of the estate, but that personal representative is the single person. So fantastic. Let's see here. I've got a couple of things here. Questions possibly from some folks out here. So let me take a look. Okay, so for probate lead, the heir is motivated to sell the house and is currently living overseas. It looks like this might be a two-part question. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So can I sign a contract with the seller even before probate is settled? And what is the best suggestion? Well, yes, this is actually, it can be a bit of a controversial question response that I'm going to give you. But yes, look it. Um, there are two answers to this question. Um, if if somebody has an open probate and that means that the probate is open in every state. There's a bit of a variation of how probate is conducted and the length of time that it will take, But at the end of the day, probate will be closed one day, right? So the first way that I'm going to answer this is, can you put a property under contract before probate is closed? The answer is absolutely yes. Yes, you can. The second part to that is, can you open? Can you get a property under contract before the letters are issued? Or to make things simple for today, I'll say that before somebody has the authority and ability to sell that property. Let's say that. Can you get a property under contract? At the end of the day, the answer is yes to both of these scenarios, right? And certainly yes to the first one, because at the end of the day, the estate, right? All the possessions that are being held in a probate would be classified as the estate holdings. Well, those are the assets that are in this estate, are the things that have a monetary value. So typically, the highest valued item in an estate is a house, right? The property, the real estate. And so, in order for this probate that's being conducted to have liquidity, to have cash, right, within that estate, something has to be sold. Well, guess what that highest value of something is? It's real estate. So, naturally, a property would have to be placed under contract and have to go through the motions of being sold before probate is closed. Once that property is sold, liquidity is freed up, money is available in the estate, and now the probate has the ability to proceed a lot faster, okay, towards closing. Now, I think that part of the question is one that most people would understand, but the other one that I mentioned is, can you get a property under contract before somebody has their letters of administration or testamentary, which essentially means that they have the ability to close on the sale of that house? The answer is yes. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 plus years, right? I know that some folks out there feel that you can't do that, or that, but no, you are able to do that. Like I said, I've done that, and my students have done that for years and continue to do so, right? Now, what if somebody, not let's just even go a little bit further than that. What if someone has just filed for probate and they have not even been granted as the executor administrator of the estate? What about then? They've just filed. I mean, they actually, they're just an applicant, right? Submitted an application to be granted a role that they requested. Can that person be granted, or does that person have the right to put a property under contract? Well, think about that. Think about that very carefully, right? People might say, well, no, but why not, right? You can't you can't stay within these lines. You have to think outside. You got to be very creative, right? And so the way that I have done that for myself over the years, over and over again, and that I teach people to do, is to then go ahead and put that property under contract, subject to the personal representative being granted that role of administrator or executor, right? So in other words, you're not going to hold anything against them if they don't get granted, right? At the end of the day, if they don't get granted, then that contract means absolutely nothing. But what it does do is that it puts something in that person's mind that they've already engaged into a contract with somebody. So they are committed, right? And that's very, very important, right? That somebody has a mental commitment to do business with you. Because when everybody else comes and tries to, pull this person away from you, they've already got a contract. They've already, in their mind, this is already done, and they really don't want to talk to anybody else. And that's very, very important. So, and we can discuss these things a little bit more at another time. But if there are any other questions or follow-up questions to that. So I don't see any other questions other than those today. And I just wanted to just spend a few moments here with you and just kind of to kick us off. It's going to be a Friday tomorrow, and the weekend's upon us. So what I will tell you is I will continue to do these, and I want to continue to help you and answer questions and share thoughts as well. Things that are occurring out in the marketplace, things that I'm going through, some fun stories, whatever it may be. If you have any ideas whatsoever, or if you want to make sure that you get a notification, then go to probatefox.com. That's PROBATEFOX.com. Fox, like the animal, the fox. And then there will be a place for you to register, and then that way you'll get notifications about this in an advance notice, so that you don't forget that this is on. And in the event that you missed it, it should be available for replay. I see one last question before I check out here. Okay, let me see. This question here says, when the person is motivated and is living overseas, now the case is in, probate attorney got involved, seller does not know when to sell the house. Heir is motivated to sell the house, and he is currently living overseas. Now the case is in probate, attorney got involved, and seller does not know when they can sell the house. Okay. I assume that if you know this much, it's probably because you're in contact with the seller, right? And communication is important. So what I would say is that you've got power at your fingertips, right? Those fingers of yours, you've got a lot of power. What you want to do is you want to go to your website of probate, right? So you can Google your county name and state and probate, and what you'll find is you'll find the court website for that given county and state, and you'll find a division that is called probate. You go there and you sort of follow that path. There's going to be a place where you will have a chance to enter the case number. Enter that case number if you have it. If you don't have a case number, try to get that case number from your seller as you're conversing with them. I'm not sure how you got a hold of them. It might be a neighbor or, somebody that, often happens, right? We all have neighbors that, are passing away, and the family, is kind of stuck with these properties. There are instances where, these folks live out of the state or out of the country, overseas in this case. And if you don't have that, then you can take that name, first and last name of the deceased, and you can start trying to do some research online on that court website as well. If you get stuck and you can't gather any more data, feel free to send me an email and I'll see if I can help you, or Ernie at probatefox.com. I'm not sure what state and county you're in, but oftentimes we do have case numbers for just about almost any county and state in the nation. But yes, and then the next thing that you do is you start to be the voice for this person, right? The attorney is not the person in charge. The person in charge is actually that executor, administrator, that personal representative. That is the person who has the power, right? And that's really important because oftentimes people think that the folks with the power are the attorneys, and the truth is that those attorneys are essentially employed by the estate, you know. And so it's a very important distinction that people need to make, because you know, if always handed off to some third party person that is maybe working at a snail's pace and isn't really, you know, and oftentimes that happens with attorneys. And I'm not saying all attorneys, there are some fantastic attorneys. And when you find these fantastic attorneys, please hold on to them, right? Because they're great folks. But a lot of them are slow. A lot of the other ones are very, very slow. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you help this person to kind of walk through this probate process. Is it full authority probate process? Does this person have the right to make decisions, you know, that are being made? You can get into a contract with them and put that contract into escrow. You can park that contract in there, and you know, you might be in a hurry to kind of expedite this process, or you might be okay taking your time with it. It's up to you. But the most important thing is that you get this property under contract, right? Lock it up, put it under contract. And I'm not sure if you're listing the house or if you're purchasing the house, but at the end of the day, even if you're listing that house, you can still, you know, get that property under a listing agreement, and then start helping them, right? Be that voice between you and the attorney. Again, some attorneys are very open and communicative, and they will actually be more appreciative of you if you are here to help, and not only helping yourself, but helping them, right? Going by that property, changing the locks on the property for them, securing the house, taking photographs, you know, doing all of these other types of things that are in need. So with that, I'm happy to have spent some great time with you. Again, please, I welcome comments, I welcome ideas, and I welcome you know, even some opportunities where I'll have some guests on as well. So go ahead and email Ernie at Probate Fox. Go to probatefox.com and register in advance so that you get notifications to these. And I look forward to talking to you again next week.